can you go eat? I can tell you that we have reservations at, I think I should go expert in. Let's just scratch it. What about the one that's top?
I think that when you recognize that we were in a negotiating position, that each ethnic group would certainly try to leverage himself as much as he possibly could to achieve the types of objectives they thought should be included in the plan. But it was never to the extent that we felt that we had no choice, because our choice was always the opportunity to walk out and say, the hell with it, you know. And with that, you had no consensus.
But that's what the white did. Right?
Well, certainly the whites did it at one time, and of course they recognized that the plan was too important and too much had been done to stay away, and they chose to come back, which I think it just indicated at least their commitment to trying to do something that was positive.
There is not one person in that alliance that's representing black South Dallas, not one. The burden of this busing is going to be predominantly on South Dallas and Oak Cliff. These one-race schools are going to be out here. And I think Judge Taylor, this Nebulous Alliance, and anyone else should be ashamed of themselves for calling shots for South Dallas again. You keep talking about this so-called white flight, you know, at the expense of people here. The courts have ruled in '54 with all deliberate speed. This is 1976. Everyone is doing everything in the world but getting about the business of education. You have Highland Park. See, the church lives in Highland Park, called some other park cities. You have people on an alliance from Highland Park that's calling shots for the inner city, and predominantly black South Dallas. And I think it's abominable. I'm not trying to give you some rhetoric. I'm very hostile about it.
I guess I'm concerned about it, but I'm not particularly alarmed at the fact that there are some specific concerns by residents in the South Dallas area about the alliance plan and the complement of the group. And that's primarily because there are also citizens and residents in other parts of the city that could very well say the same thing, that the Anglo contingent or the Mexican-American contingent was not representative of every geographical area present in the city. The Alliance Task Force, as I'm sure Mr. Lowe has probably indicated in the past, was not necessarily designed to ensure that they had a representative from each geographical location in the city, but was merely put together or organized at that particular time with Alliance members and perhaps other people that they felt would be willing to work and put in the number of hours that have been required in order to come up with some sort of a consensus plan.
Dallas Legal Services is understaffed, underfinanced, yet it has had more impact on this city than any other legal firm. Why?
Well, I think it goes back to the original purpose of our organization. As I understand it, the War on Poverty originally began a legal services program in order to give low-income people access to our system of justice. Because that access involved a number of very fundamental issues in this community and in our society, the representation of low-income people or fulfilling our function to the poor necessarily involved bringing lawsuits against government agencies, etc. That's one of the reasons that we were initially unpopular in the community, because there was a period of acclimation which became necessary. I think now institutions have become accustomed to taking into consideration the needs of the poor, and we have become accepted in this community, but that process has, I think, by necessity involved fundamental change in a number of institutions.